I know it might seem kind of cliche to take pictures of fireworks, but I've never done it before. This was literally the first chance I've ever had to take pictures of fireworks, because we always go to bed before the fireworks start, or if we're awake, we're at home and we're not out watching the fireworks. So I was thrilled at the chance to take pictures of fireworks, and this was in Minnesota. My family and I were up visiting friends and family in Minnesota over the 4th of July, and the friends that we were at on the night of the 4th of July lived just a couple blocks from this big community college open grounds where the whole town, it seemed like, was gathering to watch the fireworks, which were being launched from the Mississippi River right on the other side of the community college. And I had my Fuji X100F, which was the only camera I brought for the entire trip to Minnesota. And I brought my Peak Design travel tripod, which is a fantastic tripod. I don't want to just endorse that thing, but it's really great. I was really glad I had that with me. And I actually got a preview version of the tripod sent to me from Peak Design. So thank you, Peak Design, if you're listening to this. That tripod was really nice to have on this trip. Anyway, we're watching the fireworks, or we're setting up to watch the fireworks, and we found a spot, put some lawn chairs down. And having never done this before, I wasn't really sure what would be best for taking pictures of the fireworks. I think I tried a couple different settings in terms of shutter speed. I knew I needed a small aperture because I wanted to let as little light in as possible, so that when the actual fireworks were exploding, that bright light would be what's really captured. So I set my ISO to 200, which is the lowest it goes on that camera, and f16. I don't think I changed the aperture at all throughout the evening. I think I just left it at f16. What I did change was the shutter speed, and this was a learning experience for me because I didn't know what would work best for fireworks. You might think, well, long shutter speed, like a minute, would be awesome, but then you just get this white, mushy mess. You don't get individual fireworks and explosions. And if your shutter speed is too short, like 1 or 2 seconds, it's really hard to time that to get exactly the firework that you want. This worked really well, this f16, 10 seconds. And what I really like about this picture, if you don't mind me saying, is that little extra bit at the bottom, which is the moon. I saw the moon coming over the trees at the bottom of the picture, and I really wanted to get a picture with the moon in there. And so I scooted my tripod over just a few feet. It actually worked out really well because I didn't really have to adjust much. I just needed to make sure I was paying attention to that moon. And I took several photos of fireworks exploding with the moon in there. And I'm telling you, it was fast. There was just like a 2 or 3 minute window where the moon was visible. And it came up on the left, then it broke through the trees, and then went down on the right, and I was able to get a few pictures with the moon. And this is my favorite. I like how you have about 5 distinct explosions in the sky with that really bright one in the center, and then down at the bottom you see the moon, and then on the right you also see just a tiny bit of horizon, because the sun, even at like 10 o'clock or whenever I took this, it was still just barely visible up at the northern latitudes in Minnesota. So this is a fantastic experience. I really enjoyed it. I also like that I didn't have to be away from my family. I was sitting right behind my kids, like a foot behind their lawn chairs, and my wife and our friends. And so I didn't have to leave the scene. I felt like I could be part of the scene and part of the experience while also getting some photos. If I had to leave and just let my family sit there by themselves, I don't think it would have been as special to me. But throughout the whole time, I'm sitting there leaning down, talking to my kids, like, isn't that awesome? Wow, did you feel that? Did you see that? And it was just a really cool scene to photograph, but it was a cool experience to be a part of.